Pleased to say that we are now joined by that gentleman, Representative Allred. Representative Allred, it's a pleasure. Welcome to BNC Live, sir. Uh,
Yeah, thanks for having me.
it's our pleasure. We know your time is limited, so we're going to jump right in. You said the president has our backs, right? So some folks on social media, they were wondering why we needed to hear from the CBC.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think the CBC, should weigh in and speak about the accomplishments that we've done together with this president, because in many ways, the Congressional Black Caucus has been responsible for some of the landmark legislation that the president was talking about last night passing. In fact, the bipartisan infrastructure law that the president has touted and that I was touting last night as well would not have passed the House of Representatives were it not for the Congressional Black Caucus. So that's part of it. The other part of it, of course, is that we feel strongly that we want to use every channel, every method we have to speak to our communities about the work that we're doing in the Congressional Black Caucus and here in Congress, because we know it's been a frustrating time. We know that there's still a lot of work to do, but there are some things to celebrate, and there are some things that are going to be coming that I think people should be looking forward to. And so that's why I think it was important.
Yeah. What are some of those things that people should be looking forward to, sir? Because, and I'm interested to know what your constituents are saying about how the president is doing in his first year in office.
Well, for example, with the infrastructure bill, most of that has not even begun. Most of the construction, most of the projects that are going to be greenlit, most of the expansion of high-speed internet still hasn't started, and the money is just now going to be distributed out to the states and going to be felt in our communities. So you might be sitting there wondering, well, my road is not fixed yet, or this bridge here is still looking like it could use some work. Well, all of that is coming, and so that investment is on its way. And of course, we're still fighting on important areas that I hear about in my community all the time here in Texas, because we've had this kind of rash of voter suppression laws. Things like, what are we going to do to try and protect the right to vote in this upcoming election? And we're still going to be fighting for that. We know that we have a Department of Justice that's going to be very aggressive, both in court and trying to go after states that are trying to make it harder for folks to vote. I appreciate that. So I think there's a lot to look forward to, but also that we're emerging from COVID, and that the president has said, and I think he's right, that we have to learn how to live with this, to keep kids in schools, to keep people able to work. We've had far too many women drop out of the workforce during this, and particularly Black women during this crisis because of lack of childcare. We know things like that have to be addressed, and they're starting to get better.
Yeah. Since you spoke of voting rights in your state, right, which is in the midst of one of the biggest voting rights fights, has the caucus had a chance to speak with Democrats, Senators Manchin and Sinema, who seem to almost go out of their way to block issues that matter to Black voters, like the federal response to the assault on voting rights and also reforming the filibuster rule?
That's right. It's certainly true that when folks talk to us, they often mention, well, you haven't done anything yet on voting rights. Well, in the House, we have passed our voting rights legislation. We just need the Senate to pass it. And the good news is that we do have all 50 Democratic senators on board with the bill itself. We just haven't gotten them to agree to deal with the filibuster. And I know folks get tired of hearing about this, at least in my community, but it is a huge barrier for us, the fact that we have to get 60 votes in the Senate to pass anything. And I do think that fundamental constitutional issues like the right to vote should not be subject to a 60-vote threshold, and that's what we've been pushing for. And we did, as a Congressional Black Caucus, walk over literally to the Senate when that vote was going on to demand that they hear us. We even sat in on the debate on the Senate floor just so they could see, this kind of, this group of Black lawmakers sitting there knowing that we were watching and that history was watching.
Yeah, history is watching. And Black folks who showed up in numbers, right, to elect the president, uh, a lot of them are asking, where is the fight from him?
Yeah. Well, I've spoken with the president about this several times, and this is something that he cares deeply about. He talked about it last night in the State of the Union. I know that it's something that he's very frustrated the Senate has been unable to deal with, but he has directed his Department of Justice to take some unprecedented steps in being very aggressive in combating voter suppression Now, we are dealing with a Supreme Court and really with a lot of courts around the country that are not going to be very, that are hostile to voting rights. And that's a shame. But there still is a lot that the Department of Justice can do. And I think the president feels this very strongly. He assigned this kind of task of leading this to Vice President Harris, and she has worked very hard in this area. So, I hope folks understand there's only so much that the White House can do without, getting past that 60 vote threshold in the Senate. But I know this president cares about it, and he's fighting for it.
Representative, let's go to the crisis overseas, right? You're a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee. You just got back from Ukraine. Talk about why the Black community should care about what's happening there when so much is needed right here at home, Representative.
That's right. And it doesn't change the need that we have here, and doesn't change the fact that we have a lot of work to do here. But what's happening in Ukraine is about the fight for democracy. And I think that is something that, as I said in my speech last night, that we as African Americans understand in our bones. We understand it implicitly, the idea of having freedoms and having them torn away from you. That's what Russia is trying to do to its democratic neighbor of Ukraine, a country that elects its own leaders, a country where they have debates, where they have free press, and part of why they're being attacked by Russia, a large part of it, is because the existence of a functioning democracy on Russia's doorstep is a threat to the dictatorship of Vladimir Putin. So I think we understand as Black Americans, just how precious freedom is, just how precious your democracy is, and how it can be taken away. We've seen that in our own history, from Reconstruction and then having basically a 100-year gap until we had Black Americans back in the halls of Congress, where I am now lucky enough to serve. So this is something that we understand, that history is not necessarily a straight line, that progress can be stopped, and that it matters what happens around the world, because we know that whenever dictators are allowed to do things like this, they don't just stop there. And I think we have a fight for democracy here at home as well. And I think it's part of a global fight to try and make sure that folks are able to determine their own future, determine their own destiny. That's what I think this is all about.
Yeah, let's bring it home since you brought that up, because what's happening overseas is definitely impacting us here, right? Fed Chair Jerome Powell says interest rates are coming. They're expected to increase. We're already seeing it at the grocery stores. We're seeing it at the gas pumps. Last night, you spoke about your upbringing with a single mom, working hard, but also struggling, like so many Americans are also doing right now, Representative. What's Washington doing to help the single parents today?
Yeah, that's right. Well, listen, as you said, I was raised by a single mother, didn't have a lot of money. I know what it means, when it costs a few more dollars to fill up your gas tank, for every gallon, or when you go to the grocery store, what you thought was going to be a $40 purchase is a $60 purchase. That's a big deal. I know exactly what that means. I remember when my mom would swipe her debit card, and it was kind of like just hoping and praying that it went through. So we certainly understand that. And we're working hard to try and address inflation. Some of this is caused by forces that there's nothing we can do about here. It's about the pandemic, about global supply chains, about what's happening in other countries. But there are things that we can impact. And that's what we're trying to do, to try and lower costs. And that's what the president was talking about last night. Part of what we were calling the Build Back Better plan is to lower costs for families, whether that's capping your child care costs at just 7% of your income, which for most families would cut their child care costs in half, or trying to lower the cost of gas at the pump by releasing oil from our own strategic reserve to try and create more supply to deal with that demand that we're seeing. We want to try and lower costs in healthcare, lower costs in prescription drugs, lower costs really across the board, so that you're not paying so much for every single product, that hopefully that adds up. But it's also true that we've seen folks making more money as well during this period, and that's good. Wages have gone up as well. So while costs have gone up, wages have gone up, and we need to make sure that continues, and Black folks are able to benefit from that.
Yeah, it just seems to be balancing everything out, though, where folks are not able to get ahead. My last question for you. What has the caucus said to President Biden about addressing police misconduct, which impacts folks that look like you and I, especially considering the fact that the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act still isn't law?
That's right. And it's incredibly frustrating, of course, to me and to our caucus. We negotiated in good faith with the Senate for months. Karen Bass led that effort. for us in the House with Cory Booker, in the Senate working with Tim Scott on the Republican side. And we thought that several times that we were very close to having a breakthrough. And in the end, I think for political reasons, the Republicans in the Senate decided not to go ahead and work with us on that. But the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act is a bill that the president has said he supports, that he's called for, and that if it were able to get to his desk, he certainly would sign. It's a comprehensive bill that would increase accountability for law enforcement across the country. It would also step up training and deal with issues like racial profiling, would ban certain interactions like no-knock warrants and chokeholds and things like that. And it really is, I think, a bill that would increase confidence and restore trust between our communities. And that's what I think we want. That's what we all want. We want to have good relationships, functioning relationships, and understand that we need to move forward together as a country and deal with this crisis because it is a crisis. And I think the president certainly understands that. The Black Caucus has led the way. We've passed this bill out of the House, and we're ready to work with anyone in the Senate to get it passed through the Senate. But as I've said earlier in this interview, unfortunately, the Senate is really not functioning right now. And in many ways, that's something that we as African Americans are on the receiving end of the most, because that inaction leaves us with a status quo that sometimes is unacceptable.
Yeah, absolutely. Representative Allred, it was a pleasure, sir. Thanks for joining.